just killed me.
Welcome back. Continuing our election 2020 coverage now. Nearly a dozen statewide ballot measures to vote on. Our chief investigative reporter Eric Ross going in depth tonight to let you know how some of these initiatives will impact you and your family regardless of whether they pass or fail. Eric?
Rob, good evening. I'm keeping a close eye on these 11 ballot initiatives on the table tonight, some of them a lot more controversial than others. For example, Proposition 115, a measure aimed at banning late-term abortions after 22 weeks. Now, to give you some context on this bill, Colorado is one of 7 states in the United States with no limits on abortions. The other states without limits highlighted in yellow on your screen. Now, if passed, this bill would punish healthcare providers who perform abortions after 22 weeks with a Class 1 misdemeanor, which carries fines between $500 and $5,000. Providers would also have their license suspended for a minimum of 3 years. However, it is important to note that a woman who has this abortion, should this bill be in effect, would not face any penalties. Now, here's opponents and supporters. Here's what their arguments are. Opponents of the bill say the measure would take away a woman's right to choose and puts a one-size-fits-all approach to abortion decisions. Supporters, however, argue that at 22 weeks, an infant can survive outside of the womb. So how often does a woman actually terminate a pregnancy this late in the game? Well, let's take a look at the data. And this data is from 2019. As you can see here, 72% of women had abortions 8 weeks or earlier after they were deemed pregnant. 13% were between 9 and 10 weeks. Only 1.9%, so less than 2%, or 171 women performed an abortion at 22 or 21 weeks rather, or later. Now, throughout the night, we'll be putting other bills into perspective, other ballot measures, including Amendment 77, which will impact and increase gambling and raise betting limits in our casino towns if approved. Also, we're looking at Proposition EE, which will increase taxes on vaping and tobacco products. I'm also monitoring election polls throughout our state, making sure things run smoothly as the polls get ready to close. No word of any polling issues in our southern Colorado region right now, but we knew though there was a little bit of a hiccup at a polling center location at Aurora MLK Library. There was a power outage there, which delayed some people from casting their votes earlier today, but that has now been resolved. Rob and Elizabeth.